If you are working hard, paying your bills, and it still feels like you are stuck, still feels like you are broke, then this video is for you. And I'm not talking about just being lazy, because there's people that are stuck or broke that are just flat out lazy, and that's why they are behind. I'm talking about people that are doing what sounds safe, the smart things that people were told growing up that sounds safe, sounds responsible, sounds smart with your finances, that is actually just flat out wrong. We were actually lied to, or those financial advice, that financial advice it's not accurate. It's not kept up with the times. So this video is for you. So I'm going to be going over what we were told and why it is wrong. And then if I was starting out right now today, what I would do differently. And guys, listen, if you don't know who this is, I'm Curtis Ryland. I go over personal finance stuff. So if you like things like this, hit that subscribe button, stick around, and let's jump into it. The first thing that we were told that is actually just bad advice is go get a degree and you'll be fine, because that is the furthest from the truth. Now, listen, I think education is amazing. I think education is the best investment that you can make. It doesn't have to be a degree. It could be a certification. It could be a class. It can be anything that basically you're investing in yourself to get smarter, to work harder, to just get knowledge and just build networks and connections. All those types of classes or degrees, you can build connections. You can get network. You can do things that are actually improving yourself. But I'm gonna be honest, not everyone's cut out for college, and not every degree is the same, because if you don't get a degree that actually has a good return on investment, meaning that you're going to make more money than what you're actually spending to get the degree, and I'm not talking about over a super long period of time, I'm talking about on a shorter period of time, then you're just getting a piece of paper that costs a lot of money. That's it. You just went and spent a ton of money on some piece of paper that you're probably not even going to use. So make sure that the investment that you are getting in education is actually worth it. Know your return on investment. Know that you're actually going to be benefiting financially from the decision that you are making to go get the piece of paper. Because if you're just going to go get the piece of paper and say, hey, I got a degree, look at me, and then you're not going to use it, or you're not going to get a return on it, I would much rather just go buy a 25-cent pack of paper from Walmart than go and spend so much time, energy, and money on a degree that I'm not going to use. I know people that make a ton of money, and they make a lot of money, and they're $500,000 in debt. Or people that, even if they're not making a ton of money, but they're still $300,000 in debt, but they only make $60,000 a year, that is a horrible investment, because the interest that is building on that, they're never even going to make enough to be able to pay that off. They're probably going to die with their student loans, and they're going to have to keep paying non-stop. So, in reality, just go and make sure you have a calculated, return on investment before you just go and spend a bunch of money to get a degree, because that is the furthest from the truth. That is bad advice, and the times have actually changed. A lot of people are saying you don't have to go get a degree. You could go into a blue collar type job. You can go get a certification here. You can go build your own business. You can do on social media and build a whole business off of that. There's so many things that you can do now that you don't have to get a degree. But I know for a fact that my generation was drilled in my head. Get a degree if you want to be successful. Get a degree if you want to be successful. Don't go be a loser. Don't do this. It was just get a degree and you will always make money, which is not true. I know people that have horrible degrees, they don't use them, they spent so much money, they're in debt, they'll never pay it off, and they're still making $15 an hour working at a hardware store. So do not do that. Make sure that you are knowing the return on investment, and do not take the bad advice of just get a degree and you'll be fine. The second advice that we were told growing up is just invest in your 401k and you will be fine. Now, I'm not going to say this is the furthest from the truth, because I am a huge fan of a 401k, because I want to take advantage of the match. So whatever your company matches, take advantage of it, because that's an instant 100% return. But where people get in trouble is if they're not actually generating more income or investing in other tools that can make them have money even, more when they are retired or now in the current life that they're living. So when you get the investment in a 401k, that is awesome. But know that you are locking that money up until you are actually retired at 59 and a half. So if you're locking that money up until 59 and a half, make sure you have other ways that you're actually going to be growing income. So take advantage of the match. cool, but make sure you're doing other things. Make sure you're getting promotions, getting raises at your job, doing other investment type tools. Maybe it's real estate. Maybe it's a Roth IRA. Maybe it's just an individual brokerage account so that you can buy and sell and take that money out when you need it, and it's building over time. Just have different types of paths that your money is making and working for you besides just a 401k. So make sure that you are taking advantage of your 401k, but it's not just take advantage of the 401k and do nothing else. Because retirement investing without income growth is a slow financial death. If you're not working at a job where you actually can level up and move up, it's going to be very hard for you to keep achieving goals, keep moving forward, and you're just going to feel trapped. Life's going to hit you, you're going to have to spend your money, and then life's going to hit you, you're going to have to spend money. So make sure you're figuring out ways where you're at least gaining extra income, having an income growth year after year, so that over time, you're going up and to the right, just slowly up and to the right, or fast if you have to job hop or do something else. But make sure that you take advantage of your 401k and then have a income growth plan so that you're not just locking your money up for the future way down the line, and you're able to still live life now, hitting your goals every single year. The third thing that is bad advice is to not take risk and just play it safe. Now, I know that sounds super responsible. Hey, play it safe, don't take risks, don't take gambles. But in reality, not taking risk in my head is more of a risk than just taking a small risk. Take calculated risk. Now, I'm not saying go and just put everything on 8 on a roulette. I'm not saying that. I'm saying take small risks that you think can actually improve you financially. Because last time I checked, inflation doesn't matter. It doesn't care who you are. Inflation's coming. The job market doesn't care. You can be replaced. I've seen it happen. So if you take small calculated risks, guess what? If it doesn't turn out, you learn. But you're never going to sit there and live in regret knowing what could have been if you take the small risk. So don't take these massive risks where you're going to blow up your whole life, but take the small risk. Maybe try to start a small business that's not going to take a bunch of money to set up. Guys, look at what I am doing right here. This is a small business that I am trying to get income from and generate and teach and learn and grow and get a community. I'm trying to do that right here on YouTube. This doesn't take a lot of risk, but it's a small risk because I am still investing time. Maybe it's a side hustle that you flip items on the side. I do that too, and that's actually a fun small risk. I took a little bit of cash, all of a sudden turned it into this good flipping business where I can flip pretty much anything because I know how to do it. Maybe you are learning a skill, or you switch roles at a job, or you switch careers where it can make similar money, but you have a higher upside. I don't know what that small risk is, but taking no risk, to me, is a bigger risk than taking the small risk. So I'm not saying to go gamble everything, but take calculated risks, because the biggest financial mistake that I see from other people is people avoiding the small risk, and then they get stuck with like big problems because they didn't learn to take a big risk, or they get stuck in a big risk because they never took the small ones, and now all of a sudden they're like, oh, this could be my life changing. I have a midlife crisis, and then they do it, and then everything blows up. And so, yeah, take small risks. So the third bad advice of don't ever take risk and just play it safe, that is a bad advice, because even in investment markets today, the high up, Warren Buffett's and Kramer and all those kind of guys, they're even saying that, hey, when you're young, take the risk. Maybe invest $1,000 in this company, because you never know if it's Nvidia or Netflix. But I know if I had an opportunity right now to go back and buy Bitcoin, I would. And that was a small risk back in the day. You could have went and bought $1 million worth of Bitcoin for $10 back in the day, but we didn't. Or if you did, hey, congratulations, but I didn't. And that would have been such a small risk that the payoff would have been so much bigger. That upside was so much bigger than that small loss that you could have had on a small risk. So take that with a grain of salt, but make sure you do your due diligence and you feel comfortable if you do take a risk. The fourth thing that is bad that I was always told is that all debt is evil. Now, this one is definitely controversial, because I know, you have the Dave Ramsey's that's like, hey, do not get in any kind of debt unless it's a mortgage and you put a certain amount down, which, yeah, that is all good knowledge. But strategic debt can actually help you get ahead. I'm not talking about the consumer debt where you're always in high interest debt on a credit card and a personal loan and a car loan. I'm not talking about that kind of debt. That debt is bad. It is bad debt because you're spending so much more. But I'm talking about good debt as in like, hey, I'm investing in myself to get a degree. That could be good if your return on investment is there. A house is a good investment in my opinion because it builds wealth over time where most people are just putting in rent or something like that. You now have a house that is going to grow over time. And your money, you're going to get a return on that house. Yeah, you might pay interest, but guess what? There's also a benefit of owning your own house. If debt, helps you earn more, save your time, and you can increase your opportunity in growing financially or helping your family, then I think it's a tool. And last time I checked, I use all kinds of sharp tools that can cut me. In my life, I use knives, I use scissors, I use all kinds of different tools that I can get hurt using. But if you learn how to use the tool, you can really use it to your advantage to help you get more efficient, have, faster times, save money, do all kinds of stuff. If you learn how to use the tool that is sharp, if you don't know how to use it, in this case, taking out debt that is bad for you, then yeah, you could get hurt, you can get cut. So all debt is bad. I don't think that's the truth. I think that you can use it to your advantage as long as you are doing it the smart and responsible way. So all that bad advice, what actually works? I actually have it written down right here in my notebook. So with all that bad advice, this is what actually works. For me, it's control your lifestyle without hating your life. What does that mean? That means living below your means. Create a budget. You don't want to make a budget and be so financially strict that you hate your life. It's miserable. That you only go home after work and you go straight to sleep and you eat rice and beans, and that is miserable. And it's very hard to stick to it. Everyone creates these New Year. I want to make my New Year's plan is to get fit and to get healthy and stuff like that, which is awesome. It's great. But when you do it and you're like, I'm going to do 2-a-days and I'm going to only eat chicken breasts and I'm going to only eat this, it gets really hard really quick because you're jumping in full dive, not having any enjoyment, and people fail. That's why they get 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in, and it's like, I was going to do that, but now I'm not. That's the same thing with your finances. You got to make sure that you live below your means, but at the same time, what is your rich life? What makes you feel rich? Maybe it is going to get a coffee once every couple weeks. Once every couple weeks, you go and reward yourself with a coffee. That's not every single day. Maybe you go out to eat once a week on Sunday after church or something. Maybe that's I feel rich. So sustainability beats discipline every time. It is very hard to be self-disciplined for such a long time and be strict on yourself. But if you can have a plan that's sustainable, that makes you feel rich, makes you feel good still, but you're still being disciplined, that is what works. The second thing, take advantage of your 401k match. I know I said earlier, like only invest in your 401k. Not true. Get the employer match. That's an instant 100%. And then focus on your income skills. What can make you make more money, basically? Maybe it's a certification. Maybe it's a different job. I don't know what it is, but make sure that you're finding ways to grow your income at the same time while taking advantage of the 401k match. Build small, real side hustles that are impactful for you. I'm not talking about side hustles that you hate. This right here, I enjoy making videos. I enjoy helping people, even though I'm not, millions of subscribers or thousands of subscribers. I barely have 190 subscribers, but I enjoy still putting content out for you guys to maybe know that I am helping people better their lives. So I like doing that. I also like flipping items. I think flipping items is fun because I get really knowledgeable in all kinds of different things when I'm looking at eBay, looking at the old sales of different things. Like you can go down a rabbit hole, but make sure you're doing something that's fun. It's it might be boring to other people, but I like going to those garage sales and estate sales. It's like treasure hunting to me. And then when I find something that's valuable, I'm like, wow, that is awesome. So I like that. So find something that you can still build that's not just super time consuming and you have to struggle and stuff like that. Find something that you can build on that you actually enjoy, and then, just kind of work off of it from there. If it takes off, it takes off. That's a small calculated risk that you're going to take, and it's fun. Do something that is fun. And then increase your margin. Margin is the goal here. You want to increase your income while also keeping your expenses at the same or lower. You want to, get your budget, have a bigger margin in your time. What can save you time, make you more efficient? Margin in your stress. What can lower your stress while also helping you improve and get better? Margin is everything. The bigger your margin, the more and easier it is to actually reach your goals and just excel in everything you do. And here's the truth that nobody wants to tell you out loud. Hard work still matters. Responsibility still matters, but direction is what matters the most, because there's a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, that are running in the wrong direction. They're working hard. They're running so hard, but they're running in the wrong direction, and everything they do is not helping them lead them to the path that they need to go on. You have to take the narrow path. Find the narrow path that works for you and take it. Because you can see all kinds of different paths that everyone is doing around you. Everyone that you're like, man, that person's successful. I'm going to do exactly what they do. I'm going to do exactly what this person does at the gym. I'm going to do exactly what this person's doing in his side hustle. I'm going to do exactly what this person did in his career. And then you do it, or you try to mimic it, and it's hard. It's super hard. You're being responsible. You're paying your bills, you're working hard, and you're saying, why not me, God? Why? Why can I not do what they're doing? And maybe that's because that's not what God has in store for you. Maybe it's because you're doing everything you possibly can to get to that, but your path is actually right here. Maybe it's slightly different. Your path is right here. Your direction is right here. So, and that's really the truth, is people are running hard, but in the wrong direction. If this video helped you, hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and then I want you to go down in the comment section and tell me what is the worst financial advice you've ever heard. It doesn't matter if it was when you were young, now. What is the worst financial advice that you've ever heard? And I'm going to drop that and pin it in the comment section, because I want to know what your financial advice that you heard is so bad, it'll set you back, and is horrible to live by. Also, if you like this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like I said, because I post all things personal finance, and I'm actually going to be coming out with a part 2 of bad advice that you've heard for your finances that people just think is, that's exactly what you have to do. So, guys, you're not behind. You were just given incomplete instructions on how to actually be successful in your finances. And I want to help you guys fix that by giving you guys advice, or not advice, to use for your personal finances. And remember, you can do all things through him that give you strength. Peace.